Hey, my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people. I'm feeling good tonight. I'm ready for a good show. Y'all ready for a good show?
I'm ready.
Because
Hell
I'm
yes.
ready for a good show. I'm ready for a good show. Welcome, 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 everyone, to another episode of On the Block with Jen. I am YouTubing your favorite bad girl and devil's advocate, Jen. You can reach me on all social media platforms, On the Block with Jen, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, On the Block with Jen at Gmail. We actually got a really good suggestion for a topic. So I may touch on it just a little bit, or I may save it for an entire topic on its own because it's pretty heavy. But I want to thank the young lady who sent me that idea. That is what On the Block with Jen at Gmail is for you guys to give us feedback and send us topic ideas that you would like to see us dissect the way we do it on the block. You want to support the show with your pocket. Help mama keep the church lights on. You can buy me a smoothie right there, scrolling on the bottom, Cash App On the Block with Jen. And I really do buy smoothies. Sounds crazy, but I really, really do. I like smoothies. That is my thing. If you don't care about being discreet with your money over there on Cash App, even though it's cute when I get a Cash App and I'm not on air, right? Between you and me, throw it in the super chat, okay? And we will pull your comment up and dissect it the way we do. Also, you are welcome to come on the panel and argue, long as you don't act the monkey ass fool. You are welcome here on the block. If you do, we got an 86 ya. You know how it goes down here. So I will drop the link and pin it to the top, and you guys can come up. Tonight is the N-word losing its steam. And guess what, panel? All night we're going to say the N-word. Yeah, all night. All night. I am challenging us just for this stream. We're going to say the N-word. We're going to be politically correct. I want us to come into David's and No Saints world today. So we're just going to say N-word to accommodate, okay? We're going to say the N-word throughout, all right?
That means I gotta behave.
You can't say it with the GA at the end, and you can't say it with the ER at the end. We're going to challenge ourselves, New Yorkers. We are going to challenge ourselves.
We need like a Cash App coin jar.
Right.
You know what I mean? Someone has to like
got that kind of money.
Okay.
Right.
Kind of money, man.
Correct. I don't have a. I don't
cash
have
in that 401k.
Right.
I don't have $1 million to spare, David. All right, guys, please introduce yourselves so we can get into our yummy fluff and also our main topic. Lily, how are you, beautiful?
I am wonderful. I'm Lily of YB Limited. That's the letter Y. The letter B, the word limited, the way it is spelled here on the screen. You can find me here at, what is this? This is YouTube? Yeah, we're on YouTube. You can find me here. You can also find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook as well. And I am a model / actor who began their career as a makeup artist, and now I'm here on the block with my team.
And I am musician and music producer Heron DeMarco. You can catch me here on YouTube under Heron.DeMarco. And you can actually catch me also as Dangerous DeMarco under IG.
And I am Saint. I am No Saint. I am Saint No Saint on IG, on YouTube, and on Threads, however long that's going to last. I'm also your friendly neighborhood firefighter, but I really enjoy coming here on the block and getting it in. So let's go.
And I am David Hand, Mr. David Hand. Spell out the Mr. or you probably won't find me. Look for me on Instagram or you probably won't find me. Just kidding. I'm Mr. David Hand everywhere, but I only use Instagram. And I am a former creative director in recovery, working as your favorite New York Fashion Week runway model.
You're on mute.
You're muted.
Okay.
Yes.
We got it. Okay, so with that being said, I have some fluff. Today.
All right,
I'm
fluffer.
your resident fluffer. Yes, I am. So we've all heard of a doppelganger, right? We know that politicians use them, celebrities use them, and all good type of stuff like that. Okay, so the latest person who's being accused of using a doppelganger is our friend Jamie Foxx. Yes. Oh, yes. The people are talking. And People, when I mean people, I mean People Magazine, as well as TMZ and other places are saying, this is good news, I guess, but it's a little suspicious. So Jamie Foxx was spotted on a yacht going down the Chicago River. He waved, he did a little, good royale wave, and he was caught by the paparazzi as well as an Instagram user who snapped a picture. Okay. And, he did it when he looked. I mean, it was a quick video. I wish I had it here to show, but you all could look it up. You could just type in Jamie Foxx on yacht. It'll come right up. It's lots of videos of it. And it was a quick one, but from what I can see, he looked rather good and rather healthy. I mean, he didn't look like what we would expect him to look like, because I know people were afraid, like, oh my God, is he not going to be able to act again? Is it going to be noticeable that he went through this situation? But, so that is actually what has got people talking, because they're like, is this some type of publicity stuff? Because he does have a lot on the table. So people are questioning, like, is it a doppelganger that is like, hey, nothing to see here. I'm doing good, guys. Let's go ahead and keep those contracts going. I'm still in that movie, right? And then they said, Mike Tyson said, hell no, you're not. We're not doing it. We're not. I wish you the best, but I'm not taking the risk. So he's not going to be in the Mike Tyson biopic. Okay. But there's a couple other things he has on the table that seem to still be on the table, as well as some brand deals. They still seem to be on the table. So people are suspecting that he's trying to make sure those things stay on the table. I mean, can you blame him? I said a doppelganger out there too. Just saying.
Um,
Well,
it, I'm gonna go first, Haran. I'm
well,
poking you in the
I was just
forehead.
reveling. I was just reveling in the fact that you were trying to talk and no words were coming out. I was just reveling
Oh,
in the degree of
oh,
silence.
Do you want that y'all
okay.
next argument to look like that?
Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
don't get used to it, buddy. Um, okay, so if that was a doppelganger, it was a damn good one. Jamie Foxx has a very unique look, so I don't know how they found
Right.
someone with that face. Not that that's a bad thing, right? He looks good when he sprays in that hairline. He looks great. Okay, but I will say, it's a bummer if he's not going to do Mike Tyson, because Haran, are you fucking with me on purpose with that cup?
Oh, is that somebody's brand, somebody's fast food, or
Yes.
Takes a
yeah?
fucking cup.
Lily, we have to go to
Takes
his house and just open up the cabinet
Yeah.
and I'm talking
Okay.
because I'm sure he eats out of the Tupperware. He probably eats with the rice spoon. I know. I
Right.
already know.
Benefits of being a bachelor.
Don't be out
Oh
here
my goodness.
putting my business out here in the street,
We're
please.
judging.
Don't
We're
do me.
judging.
We're judging. Where's my little
Yeah.
gavel?
Yeah. We're judging.
So I was gonna say it's really a bummer. Like, I'm really sad that he's not gonna be able to do the Tyson film, because I think he is the only one that can kill that role. The only one. Respect to all the other actors on the planet, but Jamie, he had that Mike Tyson down, man. And we've seen Mike Tyson movies. We're kind of sick of them. There's probably like 4 or 5 of them. My little nephew was in one. Okay, it's like, there are a lot of Mike Tyson movies, and a series. There was a series which was absolutely horrific because they made the actor who's I forgot his name, Trevor or something. Trevor, he's fine. The actor
Oh
is
yeah, I know
fine.
you're talking about. Yes.
But they went and put a bunch of prosthetics on his face to make him look like Mike Tyson, and it was just horrific. He looked like he got in a car accident. Anyway, it's sad to hear that, because he prepared and he sounded like him and looked like him. So that's a bummer. As far as a doppelganger, I don't know. I think the studios, I know people are saying or speculating, oh, he's doing that so the studios don't think that he can't work. The studios would be the first to know, I think,
But
whether or
don't you
not he
think we
can
would be the
work.
second to know? Don't you think that he would post something or get on Instagram? That was the only question I had. Like, if I was in his position and knowing the hoopla that was going on around it and the speculation and the questions and everything, like before I hop on a yacht, a public yacht, I was, hey, let me send a quick text, or I mean, I'm not text, but post or do a live and say, hey guys, I'm doing fine. And then if you saw me and the guys like, oh yeah, we already knew that Lily was doing good. So that was my only question. Like,
It could It could also be. It could also. First of all, we don't know what led to the speculation was aneurysm and heart attack, right?
Mhm.
And we have no idea what led to that. But I know if I had a loved one, or if, universe forbid, I went through something like that, I don't want to touch any social media. I don't want to. I don't want to hit send on it. I don't want to. So maybe, and again, this is just speculation. Maybe he just wanted to be on a boat, get some fresh air, be on the water, and not be connected to any, devices. That's another possibility where he's like, I don't want to connect to y'all. I don't want to deal with y'all. I don't want to. We get sick of looking at social media, and he almost died. So the last thing he probably wants to do is like, hey, I'm good, y'all. And then everybody's bombarding him and inboxing him and the comments. And, so I don't know. It looked like Jamie to me, but it looked like a very healthy Jamie.
Very healthy.
He looked very healthy. He looked very calm and he looked healthy. He looked, his normal weight. He didn't look sick at all. But we don't know, when, according to his daughter, he was back home, what was it, months ago now, a couple months ago. According to her social media, she was like, oh, my dad's been home and we got the surprise coming for blah, blah. And then they announced they were going to do a series. So we don't know how long Jamie's been home and okay. Do you know what I'm saying? Passing the mic.
I saw someone saying that it was a clone, and I was about to explain to them that that's not how cloning works. But then I was just like,
never mind.
Really, just have it. I just let her have it.
It's a clone, baby. Yes, it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, crazy enough, I know I'm a doppelganger. For a while now, when I walk down the street, people start yelling "Haran, Haran," and I'm like, not Haran. That's the other guy on the show. That's the other guy on the show.
Yeah, I know you get that a lot.
I'd have to be drinking like half the bottle, half the bottle of Patron,
half the bar,
right? and mushrooms, and I'd have to squint, and I'd have to hop up on one leg, up and down, close one eye, and turn off. And then it's Haran. Oh shit! It's true.
God, you're right. I see it now. I see it. I get it.
It's in the smile.
Yeah, definitely. So. All right, guys, if we don't have anything else on Jamie, shall we continue?
I mean, I think it's him.
You think it's the
I
Jamie?
look at those pictures, I think it's him. And, you have to know that there was going to be paparazzi looking out for you and everything like that. And, I get what you're saying lately about maybe he just wants a break and everything. But by now, you should know that everyone is watching you all the time when you're, Jamie Foxx. And
it's to the point of what Jen was saying. Like, Jamie does have a unique look. You can't just grab anybody. It's like a picture trying to find a Jonathan Majors doppelganger. That's gonna be like.
Well, if we go back a couple decades to like when movements were happening.
Okay, we're not gonna go back.
Okay, all right, fine. Okay, fine. Boobs!
Not today. Not today.
We'll save it for the main topic. I digress. But they both, those two distinguished gentlemen, have very distinguished looks.
Yeah. Oh, I do have one thing to what you said, Jen. That could definitely be it, but what also could be it as well. This could have been his post because they called the paparazzi.
There you go.
Right.
This could have very well been his post because they know that picture was going to get took and spread everywhere. So I wouldn't even have to post. I just go up on a yacht and wave, hey, and then go back home.
Right.
Right. Seriously.
Good point. Could have been his post. That's how I'm going to post when we out there. I'm just go to Starbucks. Be like, paparazzi pics.
Right.
I'm ready. But of course, I'm going to call the paparazzi.
I'm sorry. I'm going to be like Britney with an umbrella. Fuck that. I'm going all in.
You got the right haircut.
Right. Exactly. I can skip the shaving part and go straight to the umbrella. So
exactly.
I got it all planned out.
Brittany. It's Brittany Batch.
Just don't touch any basketball players.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, don't touch it. Don't tap any 7'5" basketball players on the shoulder.
Don't forget 19-year-old.
19, just the baby. All right, mi gente. Anyone else have anything from their desk on this?
Yeah, I have something. So when we're on here, a lot of the times, and we'll have different people come up here, and I sometimes when I am speaking with them and bringing up, in particular when some conservatives come up here and they'll say something, and then when I present, like, okay, what about this, and this, and they ignore all that, and for me, it's really hard to understand. Well, there's a study out, and I found this, and I found it to be quite interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and go over the study right now. So behavioral and political scientific studies have pointed the finger at potential conservative, oppositive. Let me start over. Behavior and political scientific studies have pointed the finger at political conservatives as opposed to liberals when it comes to spreading fake news stories. Political leanings aren't the only indication. Personality is a critical influence, so these studies focus on that. The study specifically looked at I'm so sorry, I'm slipping over these words. I know I practiced so much on this, but the words come in there.
No saint. We got time. We're not in a rush. We got time.
Okay.
We got time.
The study specifically looked at conscientiousness. Conscientiousness captures the differences in a person's orderliness, impulse control, conventionality, and reliability. In a series of 8 studies with a total of 4,642 participants, they examined whether low conscientious conservatives disseminate more misinformation than the other conservatives or low conscientious liberals. After determining the people's political ideology and conscientiousness through questionnaires that ask about their values and behaviors, they then shared a series of real and fake news stories. When asked if they would consider sharing each story, the study found that low conscientious conservatives shared fake news stories at a markedly higher rate compared to all other groups. Both liberals and conservatives sometimes saw false stories as accurate. This was driven in part by they wanting to believe it was true or it aligned with their beliefs. The study showed that when stories were tagged as inaccurate, and even when the participants were told that the stories were false, conscientious conservatives shared at a much higher rate. Information gathered through the study showed that low conscientious conservatives expressed a general desire for chaos, and this need may explain the proclivity to spread misinformation.
So they saying that dumb Republicans lie?
No, they're saying that what they're saying is that, yeah, not dumb, but low conscientiousness. Like
that's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, but they're saying
Fine
that
line.
even compared to, and this article was much bigger than this. They brought in to the fact that the mistrust of certain institutions, and things like that they were overlooked stuff. But what I found interesting most of all was that even when they were told this story's not true, because it supported what they believed, they were willing to share it. And that's the stuff that I had a hard time when I'm talking to people. I don't get, like, we had a guest here recently and I was like, so all this other stuff doesn't matter, like the and it doesn't.
Right. Correct.
And it was harder for me to understand, but they're finding, they're doing studies. So I thought that was interesting as much as I messed it up. Can
you guys see my pen?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cute.
Ah, nice.
So, no saint. I'm gonna take you back to something Lily said that you disagreed with. Yes, I keep receipts.
Uh-oh.
Because you said that Lily said, well, politics is like religion. And you was like, no. However, the gentleman you're talking about that you like, so you don't care that blah, blah, blah. It just supports what you believe. That conversation was about religion, no saint.
And this study right here just basically supported what you believe, bro.
Well, no, I didn't. I mean, how did I believe it when I didn't know about the study? I mean, no, I didn't understand. And listen, it's not just this panel. I work with a bunch of people and a bunch of people that think this way. And I just know the dodging of information or the dismissiveness of everything. And in my mind, I don't know how you do that. And that's why I even told other people, like, believe me, if the shoe was on the other foot, and since people think I would only vote Democrat, which isn't true, and this was happening on that side, I would be just as like rolling my eyes, like you don't this it just doesn't compute, because for me it's more of an individual. It's not like a team for me. It's more of like, look what's out there. Okay, so all these people are in on this, right? Everybody, and if someone speaks up, then they're suddenly on the outs. They're suddenly
I know exactly what you're saying, Tristan. I know exactly what you're saying, and what's interesting, you know how some people blame everything on the devil. I blame everything on social media. I do. I blame
Right, me too.
and I know humans have always been hot garbage. Yeah, we know that. We know that since the Garden of Eden. Oh, bitch, it was your fault. You know what I mean? It's like since the Garden of Eden, humans have been hot garbage. Great. But I do blame a lot of it on social media, because even in what you said, No Saint, you said they share, right? Even though they know it's bullshit, they share. Where are they sharing this? On social media, right? For the most part, it's even beyond word of mouth, because they hang out with people that think like them. But they're sharing it on social media. We don't only see that with politics. We see that when things are happening. It's literally becoming like the joke I say about the monster on the wing of the plane. It's like, I just told you what it was. You just saw it with your own eyes. And they insist on the opposite. It's true. Even when you have tangible evidence, I'm not talking about opinion, because everybody got an opinion, but even when you're telling someone, or they see the video themselves and they're like, oh, she didn't say it was blue, she said it was purple. And then they'll see the video, right, where the person said it's purple, and they're like, no, if I say it's blue, then I'll have more to talk about. I'll feel more important. I'll feel like I'm in with the crowd. I feel like everything's going my way because I want it to be blue. That's happening now in droves to people. It's like on steroids, Trump's business model. Keep saying it, keep saying it, keep saying it, even if it's BS. Eventually it'll be the truth, right? When the hate don't work, start telling lies. Say it enough, people believe it.
I believe it.
Religion also does that, right? Religion. That's why, going back to what Lily said, politics is religion. I could just keep lying to you, and eventually you are going to fight for me. And we see that a lot on social media. We've seen the biggest charlatans, con men, motherfuckers that had no money, nothing. And they get this big following because the person just kept lying to them. That lie felt better and better and better.
Look, I have to check myself sometimes when I'm looking at certain things, because cognitive bias is a real thing. We all do it. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just want something to affirm your perception of someone. You'd be like, yeah, see, I told you wasn't shit. You know what I mean? It happens. However, by accepting that is real, it's different from other people who completely deny such a thing actually exists. Like what I usually say to people is like, okay, you want the truth, or do you want the facts? Far too often, especially in a court of law, the truth is customizable, but you can't necessarily deter from the facts. And most of the time, people don't want to hear the fucking facts. They want to hear the story that helps them sleep at night, the story that helps affirm that they're better than the other person, the story that helps them affirm that guy's the bad guy. He's the reason why my life didn't work out. He's the reason why America is what it is, and so on and so forth. So what you're saying, I get it, No Saint. I get it, absolutely. But sometimes we have to be careful. We have to be careful because your own perception of them led you to that study and to agree, to that study. Anyway, go ahead.
What I was going to say is, as a person who's apolitical and really like just looks at it all as a comedy show, and just stands back and just looks at it from objective eyes, I see both sides doing the exact same thing, right? That's what makes it comical for me. But the reason being is because blaming it on these things, these devices and social media, like not just social media, but just the devices and the algorithms and the way they're set up. We are all, every single human now with a smartphone is able to live in their own echo chamber now and have their thoughts constantly affirmed and given back to them all day. Because once you click on something that you like, they're going to keep sending you things that you like. They're going to start sending you people that you like. And then when you hear something that goes against that, your ears are going to fucking bleed. You're like, how are they thinking like that? Don't they know? And it's like, no, every one of us are in an echo chamber unless you have to go out of your way at this point to hear other things. And literally that's what I do. I have to like change my algorithm every now and then so I don't keep getting the same shit because I have to check myself, right? So I'll go on people who piss me off. I'll go on this, I'll go on that, just so my algorithm will get a little bit more of a balance and things like that. So yeah, that's how I look at it.
Well, I imagine, yeah, in New York, you probably do. Here, I've got it all around. I don't have to go and find it. I live in it.
Well,
But
no, I'm just talking about like on these things, on these devices and
no,
stuff.
I
That's
get what
something
you're
we
saying,
research.
but that's what I'm saying. You have to go and find it. I just have to go to work. So
Oh no, living in New York, it's nothing but a melting pot. So when
yeah,
I'm out,
yeah.
and see, I'm outside. I'm not on the phone like that much. Really, I'm
Right,
not. I'm
right.
only on it for work. So I'm outside. I get around different types of people. That's my friend group. But I know the average person doesn't live like that.
No,
You
you're
know.
right. But this is what I want to say. You're right. I could look at stuff on the far left and say that's crazy. I've always been one, and I'm pretty consistent when it comes, and that's why I am a non-believer now, is because I try to find the truth, right? Or at least something that's logically makes sense to me. And so for me, it's hard to try to put myself it's hard. It's hard to put yourself in a mindset where someone could believe certain things that are just being put out there and not question it. I
That's
mean,
most
some of
humans.
these stories, but some of it is fairy tales. It really sounds very, I mean, listen, it's not just today. I mean, it's been throughout history, but it's just, so I'm trying to understand some of that and realize that, people have different, I mean, people just think differently, but it's, I just found that, yeah, I just found it interesting.
I actually think I think the outliers, the people that do think, I think we're the ones that are different. The majority of humanity is cattle.
Hell yeah.
Majority. It's like what I said before. It's like that's why there's one person on stage hopping up and down, right? And there are 50,000 people in the seats. People are cattle. They just move to things that make them feel good. Most of the religious people I know, they know it's BS. They don't care.
Hmm.
They don't care. There's
Hmm.
somebody in the sky looking out for them, and it feels good, and they feel protected. It's a great feeling to feel protected and saved and blessed and favored and all that other mushy stuff. So I just think that majority of people. That's why I keep relating us to animals. So I keep doing that. It's like, but humans are arrogant. We're obnoxious. We think that we're better because we walk on 2 feet and we could put bricks up and make a building. But we're just a different species of an animal. It's cattle. We are cattle for the most part. That is why you could
Um,
get people with a couple words to run up in a building and tear it down.
to Jen's point, sometimes I do agree with her how social media has impacted certain things and how it's impacted, I mean, a number of people is how they interact with the world after they shut off their machines. Meaning, social media has transformed into this place where people look for echo chambers. They look for these
Yes.
spaces where their ideas can be, what I mean, fed, so on and so forth. And now you're pumped up with all this fucking bias. And then you shut your fucking computer down and you go out into the world and you don't realize that the real world, you have to deal with different people. You can't behave with the same degree of lawlessness online. Like, you bring that shit out into the real world, you can get arrested, you can get your fucking jaw broken, you can get there's real consequences. And that's the problem that I do have with social media, because people have this skewed concept of the real world, like as if there's no consequences. And they're shocked when they experience a consequence. Like, how dare this happen?
No doubt. No
No
doubt,
fact.
no doubt. Yeah, what you find is and that's to Jen's point where the machines came into play. And also when cable started spreading throughout the nation, and then you started having these 24-hour news outlets, and then they became 24-hour echo chambers. So you only got your information, instead of getting your information from maybe a few different places and a bunch of different independent writers around the country and papers and things, it all started becoming one, blasting the same, what you want to hear, what you want to see, and not listening to the other ones trying to manipulate. This one's telling you the truth, the other one's trying to manipulate you, basically. And then, like you said, it splits where people don't even, it's becoming now where people getting married are starting to look and make sure that other person's not affiliated with, say the Democrat or the Republican. And it's really interesting. But I do want to say that that's not saying all conservatives are like that. That's the low conscientious conservatives. They have high conscientious conservatives and high conscientious liberals that do disseminate and try to find what makes sense and what doesn't.
I have a
so that's out there
question.
too.
Can you did you check and see, because this is whenever I read a study, I
Yes.
always you saw who funded it
Yeah.
and who did it.
Yeah, I'll find it. It's American. It was the articles from let me see. I definitely have to see who
Yeah,
I'll get it for you though. I'll get it for you.
Okay. Yeah, because a lot of times there's been times I've read a study or whatever, and
well, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm about to say, like, it's appealing to me and I like it, right? But then when I read it, I'm like, oh, I see who funded it,
Yeah.
and it's like me writing a Amazon review for my own product.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah. For sure.
For me, what I've noticed, well, not even noticed, what I'll just say basically conceded to is that once news channels got, heavily involved with, once it became more so about advertising, that's when the skewed ideas and the biases and biased journalism just really took flight. The CNNs, the Fox Newses, so on and so forth. If you really just sit down and just let them spew whatever the fuck they want to spew, and just sit down and wait for the commercials, you'll say to yourself, oh, I can see why a conservative would buy that. I can see why a liberal would buy that. I can see why blah, blah, blah. All it is really them sitting down telling you what you want to hear so you can wait long enough for the fucking commercials. You know what I mean? So they can sell you shit that, Billy Bob, we got the hatchback for you. We got a chainsaw with your name on it. Just sit back and we'll pump you full of fucking, Trumpisms, get you hating those gays and those blacks and those wetbacks and shit like that, and we'll give you what you want. So the same thing with the liberals. So when you're dealing with, that is the thing right now. I'm watching, and there's a relation to this. I'm watching Secret Invasion right now. I was a big fan of that, coming up. It's a comic book storyline. And the idea is, who can you trust? Because you have these Skrulls who can turn into anybody and become anything. And we're in this time right now where it's very hard to figure out what the facts are. Because it feels like everybody's in on this, take to skew this and skew that and turn it into anything that they need to turn it into in order to get you on their side. And it's as if the facts are vilified, because when you're dealing with the facts, a lot of people feel powerless because you have to deal with it. The facts a lot of times is reality. Mm-hmm. And with reality without having the power to change it, twist it, and turn it, a lot of people just literally rebel against that, man.
Well, what I figured, this is the thing that some of the things I couldn't understand, right? When Congress had the January 6th hearings, many people that I'm around didn't even watch it, right? Because they thought that it was a dog and pony show. But what they missed out was that many of these people that were being called up were in Trump's administration, were Republicans, voted for Trump. So, yeah, there were no Republican. There were a couple of Republicans, but they call them rhinos if they don't line up the way they want to line up, right? So,
They get
but
a
I find that
name. I love
interesting.
that.
So they don't want to see anything that's going to challenge what they want to believe, and that would have. I'm telling you, if you watched it, how could you not see like many things that were going? I mean, just to see what the hell was going on behind closed doors was fascinating to me. The conversations, even if you were, didn't want to, you love Trump, that kind of stuff. I mean, if that was, I'm telling you, that was an interesting hearing. And then all these other things that come up, the recordings, I mean, it's still hard for me to understand how you can just do this. Like,
yeah, it is literally that don't look up like the movie, and die with the lie mentality of con men.
Yeah.
When I was watching I guess we can call it I call it the hillbilly insurgents, when the yokels stormed the castle. As I was watching it, it just reminds you of just how much the Secret Service and our government play no fucking games. Because I remember that white woman, she got put on her back real fast by that Secret Service agent. It was a real quick and clean 2 shots, and she was out of there. And I'll say to myself, like, wow, man, to think you're laying on your back right now, bleeding out around a bunch of fucking weirdos. Like, you never think that your life would end like this. And when that occurred, I still don't think people realize the weight of the situation, because you're literally trying to. First of all, none of you have weapons like that. Clearly, alongside common sense, and like, what was the overall point of it? But that is the point of bias. That is the point when someone is high on bias, when they're married to dogma. The idea of logical thought, all these things just take a back seat, and you're just looking at these people that you would assume should be behaving like rational human beings, just behave like animals. Like, he took, like, one of them took a shit in the Oval Office, some shit like that. I don't know. There's all kinds of conflicting stories. But my thing is, like, what was the end game behind that? Like,
yeah, did you really think that handful was going to take over overthrow the government? I mean, they were trying to prevent the vice president from validating the election. Like, that was,
yes, and I don't
think they. I don't think they thought that all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, I think in their minds they thought it was going to go down like Ocean's 11, and it just really didn't.
And I really believe, and I do believe white privilege had something to do with it, because I don't think that she thought that she was going to get shot by that cop.
Yeah.
And listen, I don't want to make light. Someone died that was deceived. But damn it if I didn't say, when people that I work with and people that are on that side were complaining about the cop shooting her, and I just said she should have complied.
And their response was,
she wasn't doing anything wrong. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's literally 100 people behind her ready to bust down through the doors and go and find Mike Pence and Nancy Pelosi. And he was doing his job. I mean, Jesus.
I was shocked at the restraint of law enforcement. I mean, granted, they were outnumbered. The people were armed, just not with guns, but they were they were outnumbered there, and of course there was all that bullshit or whatever that went on with the National Guard being restrained or whatever, from not responding and everything like that. But yeah, and in regard to that woman, I mean, I don't see monuments from people of that ilk to her, as the great American hero or the great, or the great martyr or something like that. I don't even know her name,
Right. She's just that lady.
Right. Just that.
No, she's kind of a hero in some of the alt-right circles, but
I'm sure there are some fellas with full back tattoos of her
in West Virginia.
Never forget.
And all that.
In Appalachia.
And while we talk about the crazy on both sides of that political spectrum, I will still stick by the fact that, by and large, Democrats are not out there operating on a platform of diminishing the civil rights of other Americans, and Republicans are.
Well,
so is that the lesser of two evils thing?
It's not lesser of two evils. It's that, again, Democrats do not run on a platform of diminishing the civil rights of Americans, and the GOP does.
Do you believe that the Democrats have been helpful towards one of their biggest supporters, the Black community, to be self-sufficient?
Well, I think both sides are money-grubbing assholes. It's all a bought and sold game, like I say, over and over again. And I can't say, specifically, I don't have specific and intimate knowledge about that part of the Democratic agenda, but I certainly don't see it anything like it coming from the extreme components that are the loudest voices of the other side. You know what I mean? That's just all about money and symbols, pitted against human lives. That's how I see it from these seats.
That is my biggest issue. For all of the work and support that the Black community has provided for the Democratic Party, they have never really truly demanded tangibles, like things that really could push the community forward. Their only requirement is, well, at least they're not racist. Overtly.
Well, that's why I ask. Overtly, right?
Yeah,
but that's
right.
why I ask: is it the lesser of two evils? They're both proven to be money grubbing. It's like a two-headed snake, right? And that's why I asked that. But it kind of reminds me of like, well, I like this parent a little better than that parent.
For me, especially, listen, the old conservatives you could argue for, right? You could say some things and it would make sense. For me, it's somewhat, I understand what you're saying, Jen, but for me, it's the fact that they're certain now what the Republican Party is doing. And I don't even think it's the majority. I think it's the fringe, but they're dragging the other people along so they don't lose the elections and stuff like that. But the attack, you can see them doing it. You can see them attacking the institutions. They are sowing mistrust in the Department of Justice. Everything is a victimhood. And this is what scares me a little bit. You don't realize until you look at history how fast things can change, right? In 1931, the least anti-Semitic country in Europe was Germany.
Wow.
So when I see politicians saying the Department of Justice is weaponized and they're leading, they're preaching to the base and just reinforcing these things to where the people think they're coming after me and radicalizing people. I don't see that on the other side. Yeah, there are instances that you can say, like, I think it was Maxine Waters said something, at least that's what's posted, that she said, burn this place down or something like that. But not the president, though. And not the leader of the Senate. They're not saying those things, So when I look at the Republicans, there are Republicans in there that I think are standing up for what's right. And there's still people that I'm not necessarily agreeing with all their policies, but at least they're saying, they're I don't want to say the other people are insane because I think they know what they're doing, but at least they're standing on some kind of principle, and that's why I say I can vote for anybody as long as you're not just, I just hate the way it's going now. So there is a lesser of two evil, but it's the weights are like, to me, the weights now are like that. I mean, it's one side is way less evil than the other.
Well, no, saying this is my perspective. Personally, I see politics. I see it from a very. I have no emotion in regards to it. There are times when I have when I have voted Democratic. There are times when I have voted Republican. There's times when I just sat it out and was just an independent, because the decisions that I made were based on the policies that were presented, where I saw it going, and yes, how it affected me and my fucking wallet. What I mean? There's a degree of selfishness involved in there. Now, here's my thing. The average voter is not going to take the time out to understand the policies, such as a man such as yourself. They don't even understand how local government works, how it actually influences, the national election, so on and so forth, whatever. This is where the religious component comes in. More times than not, these politicians are able to move forward and gain steam and win elections based on supporting biases, based on supporting people's ideas, emotions, so on and so forth. Not political, not really having a political fucking platform. Not really, understanding the policies. Like Trump really didn't understand the policies. Like, come on, this guy didn't have any fucking background in foreign policy. You know what I mean? You can barely have a regular conversation with this moron. Much less expect this dude to be in China actually behaving in the way that he's
China.
supposed to. You know what I mean? Come on now. So, but the average American doesn't care about those things because you know what? The average American doesn't even know about the three branches of government. The average American.
So let me
Well,
ask you something, Haran. Go ahead, David. Go ahead.
As part of that, like, it is the responsibility of good government. I go back to and sorry, I'm gonna fuck up the case, but the Loving couple that changed
Virginia.
The laws, right? Loving v. Virginia, where this was a time when mixed race marriages were not allowed. They were not legal. And at the time, I think 67% of the population agreed with that fact, that the races should not be able to marry. And that's a time when the government stepped in and said, you know what, people, constituents, you're all fucking stupid and wrong. And we're going to pass this law because it's the right thing to do for humanity. We don't do that anymore. Now it's these loud idiots speaking to the stupid, uninformed idiots. And there's so many of them that is what causes the tides of change to shift in our country now. Thoughts?
I wanted to ask Haran something, actually. I don't know if you can answer this as well, David. Is it realistic then, again, when you go back to the herd mentality of human beings, right? And whether Democrat or Republican, like Haran said, you don't even know the three branches of government. Is it realistic that millions of people can make an informed decision,
Absolutely
such
not.
as putting someone in a government seat when they know, look, these idiots don't know anything about anything, but they like Cardi B, they like hot sauce, they like chicken.
Yeah.
So let's talk to Cardi B. Let's put Biden with Cardi B. You chick, you pull out hot sauce out of your bag. Kamala, you dance to making money moves, right? These idiots don't know anything about government. Just make them look like we care, right? So then with that said, then I have to go back to the lesser of two evils. They're just like, we don't care what y'all do. Just vote because you don't know what we're doing over here any damn way. All we got to do is make you feel good. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
during
exactly
C-19, I was sitting there watching the laws that were being passed while everybody was scrambling and crying and stuff. And I was like, do y'all see? And that's how we ended up in the situation we're in now. Like, literally, I kept saying to people, like, y'all need to be watching this. Like, they're happy you look over here, but you really need to be watching the laws. Like, they are passing laws left and right. And then once we open back up and then things started coming out, and everybody's like, how do we get here? I'm like, okay, whatever.
like, for instance, when I was in high school, I was attempting to teach people just the basics of government and how the presidency is decided. And I told them that essentially the electoral college is the one that decides the presidency. And I told them, somebody asked me what I thought, and I said, I am completely behind the idea of the electoral college. You morons will put in fucking Daffy Duck. And as it so happens, we got Donald Trump, which is, I guess, close enough. But anyway, the whole idea is this. Yes, there needs to be an electoral college. And the only reason why motherfuckers started really talking about the electoral college is because someone that they wanted won the popular vote, but they didn't become president. They had no clue about the electoral college. They thought that the popular vote was the deciding vote. And if you thought that, that lets me know that you have absolutely no fucking clue how this fucking shit works. So yeah,
So
this is the
again,
reason why.
can you trust someone who is
No,
catering to the most
I think everyone should take a test
idiotic
before they vote.
part
I
of
think
it?
everyone should take a test before they vote and have a license. Yes,
I
I
think
like
that would be.
that.
I like
vote.
that.
I like that a
License
lot.
to
Have a
vote.
fucking license to vote. You should at
Or
least
a quiz on the
yes,
topics and the platforms and the
yes,
policies, and
Yes.
and even
yes,
everything.
yes,
Debates need reform, because
yes.
they can just say anything and call it a fact, and then you have the whole CNN fact check afterwards, or Fox News fact check, and
This
you
is why
find out
I
there were no
can't.
facts, but people have already made their decisions. It's
They've
fucked.
been entertained. They've been
Yes.
This
entertained
is why I
thoroughly.
cannot partake, although I find it quite entertaining and amusing to see the mudslinging, to see what rapper they choose every 4 years. Like, I'll watch it. It's entertainment to me, and but I will not partake.
Sometimes I wonder
I'm not doing it.
sometimes I wonder if I'm going to partake in it, going forward, because I'm saying to myself, like, at the end of the day, I can just sway this whole. Now, don't get me wrong, Jen, you make some solid points. Yeah, you can sway the political, argument if you have the right amount of money, if you have the right amount of dirt on the son of a bitch, if you have, the right amount of influence. There's a reason why they have fundraisers. There's a reason why they have blah, blah, blah. So they can have people, who can give them money, people that can owe them favors and shit like that. So yeah, I understand your stance. And again, this is the main reason why I said people should have a license to vote, is because people need a license to drive. Why? Because if you get in a vehicle, you can kill somebody. Well, if you can barely fucking read, you're going to pull that fucking lever, and they're going to fuck around, put us all in a situation that's going to fuck for the next 20 or 30 years. Because,
Do you think the
you
distraction? Go ahead, David.
you also don't need a license to be president, but you need
Yeah,
to cut
right.
hair. If you got hair, you got to have that license. But
Right. That's a good point too. Damn.
Do you think that with the rise of these machines, do you think that voting is going to get even worse and people are going to be less interested in it?
if people are so stupid, they will vote for the AI candidate because he's got incredible hair. That's what they'll do. I loved his outfit. Oh my God, I want that to be my president. He had the most sparkly clan robe I've ever seen. I want him to rule this country.
But
That's what they'll say.
Here's the thing, David. What if somebody in some bunker somewhere, who knows computers, creates an AI machine, an algorithm that makes up people who go out there and vote.
Yeah, there's that, right?
And they sway the election. And you
The
think that, this is real people, but they're not real people. They're just, there's an AI machine who created a whole bunch of people, and it ruins the whole fucking, voting. Let me stop talking.
Yeah, but
feel
no
like
Saints
I
people will
know,
be like,
right?
but I have a picture of this voter. He must be real.
Right. Yeah, let me stop talking before there's Black Hawk helicopters in my goddamn.
It's like he
Yeah,
said he loved me. So I'm gonna vote.
I want to let's move over to some different fluff so we can segue into the topic, because tonight we are finishing on time, mi gente. This just happened. Okay, let me remove the banner. Amazon manager who bought Lamborghini while leading $9.4 million theft ring sentenced 16 years. Okay. Homegirl bought a Lamborghini, and this is why I say cut the check of reparations. Cut it. Cut it. No one wants to listen to me. Cut those checks. So these people could go and have their fun and give it all back to the French and Italian designers and Lamborghinis and the car dealers. Cut the check.
Pro tip. If you're gonna steal 9.4 million, drive a 2004 Nissan Sentra. It could be the nicest one. No dents, perfect interior, aftermarket nav system. But no one's going to be looking at you in your 2004 Nissan Sentra.
David said pro tip. I'm going to leave it at that.
Uh-oh.
Listen, when I don't understand, right? The FBI, my guy, shout out to the FBI.
Jen's best friend.
Okay, no, those are my people, okay?
First name basis.
I need to learn about that.
Yeah, I say fuck the police. I say love the police, baby. Okay, so I'm like, if you check out certain books, if you're looking at certain things on your Mac, they get pinged. You get pinged. Everybody thinks that they're out here and they're hiding behind they're hiding
private
behind their
browser.
webcams and no one can see them. FBI has the cells that float around in your ass. Okay, so if you go to the library and you pick out, oh, how to make a bomb, right?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like ping, 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 right?
Right.
What makes people think that if you walk in looking like that to buy a Lamborghini, okay, you walk in looking like that, it's not going to raise an eyebrow or two. And there's someone's going to tell someone who's going to tell someone came in here to buy a Lambo and they don't really look like the Lambo type, but you do what you want with that information. I'm just saying. Little birdie told me. Why would you do that? Why would you
Oh
do that?
boy.
You know, it's
Got to be more
beyond
careful,
understanding. They need De Niro going, what I tell you, what I tell you. That's a
But listen,
Goodfellas reference, people.
Like I told Jen, I'm not shocked at these particular situations. You know what I mean? If you black people, when you put them in these kind of situations, when you put them out there, they gonna stunt. Give them an opportunity to stunt, and they're gonna stunt. They're gonna tell on themselves. I told her I knew a dude who got knocked by the feds because his stupid ass kept coming back to the scene of the crime. I guess he wanted to bask in his triumph. And one day he came over there. He came over there one day, and they said, and he.
So
and
is
he
it like he just walked over to the bank and kept marveling at the bank?
Yes.
Wow.
That's the
Okay.
mud.
I robbed
And
that.
Used to come back.
Yeah.
Used to come back to the hood and say it, and I'm like, and we would just look at him like, and you know, I mean, and like I said, he ended up, you know, I mean, getting knocked, and it was what it was. Look, when the feds are involved, assume that you know, I mean, you're going down. 80% conviction rate. They don't lose. You know what I mean? So the first thing you do is throw yourself on the mercy of the fucking government and save everybody.
Listen. I used to say the mighty FOI. Now I say the mighty FBI. How you doing, fellas?
You better cut a deal. You better cut a deal real quick.
Listen, I think we're good. I'm feeling chafed, so that's enough fluff.
Okay.
Let's get into the topic, okay? No more. Too many teeth. No more. Okay. Tova said driving a Lamborghini to an Amazon warehouse. Child.
Right. Girl, where was you going? Like, where was you
Yeah.
going, Miss Girl?
Ooh, gotta love the
You got little
people.
proxy shooting out the
Oh,
goddamn.
I know. Tab Records. He said those PPP
Oh,
people style. You damn right they
they
did.
was stunting hard. I'm talking about living in the projects, driving Mercedes
All
and
you saw-
Maseratis.
All you saw was boxes where flat screen TVs were all out the garbage outside on the sidewalk. I'm like, them PPP loans. All right. So segue tonight's topic is the N-word losing its steam. Is the N-word losing its motherfucking steam? So let me tell you what's been happening lately. Oh, I left my damn. Did I? I got notes, Saint. Give me a minute.
That's a grocery list.
Oh shit!
Oops, damn it.
No,
That's a will. That's a will and testament.
Okay, so Fresh and Fit, you know our guys over at Fresh and Fit, who for whoever watches, over 1 million followers, very, very, very popular YouTubers. Those two cats. I don't know which one is Fresh and which one is Fit. Don't get me to lie. The guys over there, you know who I'm talking about. Okay, cool. So most recently, Nick Fuentes was over there, self-proclaimed white supremacist, racist, blah, 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 yada, yada, friendly neighborhood. He would be like the Sesame Street racist where he's like, hey, give me an arc. He's that guy, okay? He's that overt. He gives 0 fucks, right? And remember, the topic tonight is the N-word losing its steam. So Nick Fuentes was over there by Fresh and Fit. He was flanked by all those gorgeous black women you see there. He was sitting in the middle just like that on Fresh and Fit. And they were making fun and kiki-keying and giggling about Go on, go ahead, say the N word. Go ahead, say it. Say it. He was like, what? All right. I was all right. No one's gonna hit me if I say it. They was like, no, Kiki, say it. So he said it. He was like, N word with the ER at the end. And he was like, and then one of the Fresh and Fit guys took it to the next step and put on a KKK hood.
Oh.
Now I did see. Now he sat there with it. He didn't like put it on and then snatch it all. He put it on. He was sitting there talking for a while. So everybody's pushing that envelope to go viral or whatever. And now people speculating like Fresh and Fit is done. They're over. No, this is what YouTube rewards, and this is what they celebrate, right? Because it makes them a lot of money, right? So I don't see them. Oh no, it's a good use it. No, there's what they want. The more despicable and disgusting you are, the more popular you are on this in this space. So. Now I don't know if it was the Fresh and Fit guy, the tall one. The tall one is the one that put on the KKK hood, and he was talking
fresh
through
nor
that.
fit, in my opinion.
Hello. So I saw maybe 1 or 1.5 girl, but it was the girls sitting closest to him, which I can imagine would make you very uncomfortable. You're a Black woman sitting next to the guy that's wearing the KKK hood. You've probably never been anywhere near anyone in a KKK hood, and now here you are, right? So I did see one, right? I did see one and a half girl look kind of uncomfortable, like, okay, y'all are doing too much. But he said it. Nick Fuentes is also on his own show saying that Black people like the word. They like it when you say it with the A at the end, and they'll laugh about it. Black people will laugh about it, and they'd be like, oh, look, the white guy said the N word with the A at the end. And I've seen it. I've seen shit like that all the time. Eminem has said the N word repeatedly. A lot of Black people that put Eminem in their top 5 choose to omit that from his history. And I'm just, I find all of this very entertaining. I give nary a fuck because I don't take it seriously, because Black people don't take it seriously, right? So I don't take it seriously. And that's usually how the world works, unfortunately. Now we can say, well, just because these don't take it seriously doesn't mean you can't respect that. No. For all the people that we're not a monolith, it is a collection. And every time you say Black, it falls under one big umbrella. So this is what happens, right? I didn't make the rules. I'm just observing and then reporting. I didn't make the fucking rules. I'm just observing. I'm like, okay, that thing is walking like an orange. Is it an orange? It's orange. Okay, I'll call it an orange. So anyway, Nick Fuentes on his own show was saying, on his own show, off of Fresh and Fit, I should say, that Black people like when white guys say the N-word with the A at the end. They think it's funny, it's entertaining. He was like, well, not me, I say it with the ER. And then he proceeded to say it with the ER, right? With the hard ER. That is Nick Fuentes in a nutshell. Now, I noticed racism is becoming mainstream and commercialized. Am I the only one seeing this, right? Where even the girls, even though they were all Black on Fresh and Fit, they know being on Fresh and Fit gives them a lot of clout. So they're willing to giggle and ask him to say the N-word, a known white supremacist, a self-proclaimed white supremacist, a racist. They're willing to giggle and egg him on to do that because they are on Fresh and Fit. So is the N-word losing its steam to clout? Is the N-word losing its steam to commercialization? Is it just losing its steam where even Black people are egging the white people on? Really quickly, I'll wrap here because I forgot about Drewski. Drewski is a comedian. He gained fame on Instagram, has a very Jonah Hill type of deadpan comedic vibe to him. He has 6 million followers on Instagram and many, many more because he frequents different podcasts and he hangs out with all the celebrities, right? He had this comedian up there. His name was the Ovan. He's another like comedic podcaster. And Drewski was across him. Drewski is a Black man. The Ovan or Oven, whatever you say, however you say his name, you guys could correct me, was saying, Drewski was telling him, hey, that guy was up here and he dropped the M-bomb. And the Ovan was like, oh, well, sometimes you just got to get it out. When I want to get it out, I just write it down. Right? So then they were going back and forth and laughing about that. And then there was another white man on another slide. And Drewski was like, told him, yeah, your dad was a bitch ass N-word. And then the white guy repeats it. He says, yeah, that's right. My dad was a bitch ass N-word. And then he was like, oh man, oh, and he tried the gist of it. That was the joke. So again, we're seeing more and more and more of this. I am of the belief, if you want to end that word, cancel Black people who use it. People think that's absurd. It's like, oh my God, how can you, if it's a bad word, if it's so horrible, if you hate it so much, then ban everybody that uses it, because trying to ban white people that use it isn't working. And remember I said yesterday, and I promise I'm gonna pass the mic on this. Remember I said yesterday, if you have any movement, if you are a person of color and you have any movement, the first hurdle, the first people you have to fight and fight viciously is your own people. Okay? Because these were Black women now. You know what I mean? Now, I know people were trying to see Black women and Black men do it too. Okay? They give white people the quote unquote hood pass to say the N word. So we're not, I know this is an opportunity to blame Black women once again. No, but Black men do it too. So on that note, I will pass the mic. Did Nick Fuentes go too far on Fresh and Fit? Or are Black people passing out the proverbial pass for the N word, and now it's just losing its steam? So trying to cancel somebody isn't going to work moving forward, and white people don't have to be at risk of losing their jobs anymore.
I don't think it's losing its steam. I think it was always entirely dependent on who said it. And if you're a white person in power 9 times out of 10, and if Black people are dependent on you in this particular case for clout, whatever it is, what have you, then you're allowed to move in those particular situations. A person such as yourself, Jen, who says that, then there's an issue. Then there's a problem. Then they want to weaponize it. So, you have people like, you have organizations like the NOI who constantly say that, the white man is the devil until it's time to do business with him, until it's time to, use his tactics so that you can deal with stress better, or whatever the fuck they said it was, And, but again,
Not deal with stress better though.
Again, Again, look, listen, as I've said, and I said this, I think it was Saturday, we constantly keep saying that, white people are, have committed all these atrocities over decades, over centuries, and so on and so forth, or whatever, what have you. But we have no problem fucking them. We have no problem having babies with them. We have no problem going on Fresh and Fit and have them basically degrade us and so on and so forth. And no, you can't put this on Black women because, the Black manosphere, Black men, I've seen you keying up with, white dudes in the white manosphere, and they don't respect you at all. They don't respect you at all, but you need to be hugged up with them. You need to be a part of that. You need to grovel and degrade yourself for a seat at the table and so on. How you look yourself in the mirror after that is dependent on you. But in this particular situation, don't put it on the Black women. I put it on everybody. Y'all all sucking white penis for a shot at the, a shot at the throne. Y'all all kissing the motherfucking ring. Not me though. So I guess, not me, but, y'all do what y'all do, and I'll keep calling it out, and you'll keep ignoring me, and you'll keep calling me a tether, or keep pointing out that I'm Caribbean, and keep having smoke for this, and keep telling everyone that you made hip hop. But the moment I remind you that, yeah, but you still work for a white man, all of a sudden mum's the word. But anyway, let me pass the mic on that.
This just in, Adam Hearn says Myron, aka Fit, has worn that KKK hood numerous times. FYI, thank you for that information. Again, I don't watch these. I don't run those. Usually, we get riffraff or some fat bitch in the chat who wants to come up here and chase us for clout. I don't frequent those spaces. I don't go to those loser spaces. So I don't know a lot of this riffraffs, but thank you for the information. Again, if you guys have more information than me, chat, hold me down and let me know, because you guys know a lot more about this than I do. Okay, but passing the mic, what do you guys think? Did Nick Fuentes go too far? Fresh and Fit, is the N-word losing its steam? Adam Hearn says Nick is representing for all the white Hispanics. Okay. What do you guys think?
I feel like this was just something, natural order of things that was coming. based off of what we've been seeing just in general in media, social media, things like that. Everyone's look like you said, everyone's looking for that viral moment, right? So they know that's one of the most trigger emotional words that you can use. And then using the hat and things like that. So it was only a matter of time. And then, like you said, there's going to be people who's going to defend it just because they're fans of that show. They're fans of those people. Um, and that's why I don't go up in arms about it, because when I listen to the radio and I listen to how it's used by us toward us, it's always in a like shoot 'em, off 'em, F 'em. And it's just like, yeah, that's way more dangerous than a person that's white just saying it.
I got a
I
question.
love I love that point. Wait, yeah, let's marinate on that. I love that point because it's funny how it's made a big deal when a white person, slips. They forget they're outside of the boardroom and they use the N word in public. And it's like, oh, fuck my brand, right? But to me, I have to co-sign what Lily said. It is way worse that people that look like you, be it rappers or actors or whatever, use it constantly and continuously. They're cementing in your brain that is what you are, that is what they are, whether it's a term of endearment or used in a negative way. I think that's way, way worse than some white asshole slipping because he forgot he wasn't amongst, you know what I mean? The other buddies. I agree with that. Charles Coleman is saying no one who's not black should not use the N-word. Period. He's saying that's our word. So what do you say to someone? What do you say to someone like that who says that, who covets the word, claims the word, versus black people that are telling white people, go ahead and say it. We don't care.
There's nothing I can say to that. That just is exhibit A. That's
Yeah, I
exhibit
don't I
A.
don't know any of those black people. I'll say that. Um, and it's just the entire topic when it comes to white people, I think, is another case of, the one you tell white people the one thing they can't do, and it becomes the only thing they want to do. Now, some not all, right? But that is true. We are used to they are used to getting their way. Look at me saying we. Used to getting their way and running the world and all that shit. And god damn it, this is our nice white English language, and we're going to say what we want to say, and no word should be off limits just because of your skin color. In this case, it absolutely should. I mean, who cares what I say about it? Because I don't think anyone should be using it, but nonetheless, certainly not people who specifically people who weren't sort of raised in that culture, I will say.
Mm-hmm.
And I will pass on that and interpret it how you feel.
I got a question. This might sound uncomfortable, but who gives a fuck?
I like that, David, because it is a culture. Go ahead, Haran.
If you can't tell white men what to do, how do you expect black women to let you tell them what to do?
Shots fired.
Uh-oh. Listen.
That's just what I'm saying, because it's just like, if you're not willing to take a stand against that, even if you lose, if you're not willing to take a stand and say that this will not be tolerated, how do you expect your woman to fucking respect you collectively? Like, a lot of times women just want to see you stand up, say something.
Every now and then.
Every now
Yeah,
and
say
then.
something. Don't just sit there and just literally, well, excuse me, David, take it up the ass. You know what I
Are you
mean?
assuming that?
Right. Why are you saying, excuse me, David? What if I take it up the ass?
Say I'm
Just in
Right.
case.
I claim the confident
I would have said
bottom
something
slot
far
on this
different.
panel. Thank you very much.
I would have said something far different, Jen. But anyway, the point, the point, the point here is that look, listen. I saw someone actually try to excuse it. So a couple of brothers tried to excuse it. One brother said, "Well, black women have called us worse." I'm like, really? Black women have called you something worse than a white man referring to you as an
like, tell me what that word is.
Broke.
But you said, but
broke.
listen, broke is worse than a white
That's
man
worse.
calling it. Oh, it's way worse.
Yeah.
Way worse. But again, this is what I'm talking about. That you know, a lot. I'm not even going to say some, not all. A lot of black men have this vitriol for black women. So even when I saw that Nick Fuentes thing, I'm thinking, well, a lot of black people are starting to do this shit. It's cute, it's a joke, but the podcasters, right, the low lives that they are, turned it into black women are the filth of the earth. And I'm like, well, what about Drewski? Drewski's black, and he's telling not one but two white men on his Instagram it's okay to say it, and he's joking about it. And you guys love you some Eminem, right? He's in your top 5, which is absolutely absurd. Right? I've always thought it was absurd, but you can't tell black men nothing about the Eminem. You can't, don't. You know, where's Tristan with the Steven picture holding the white person from Django? Anyway, you know, they tried to turn it into a black women ain't shit thing, but I'm like, no, black men do it too. You guys covet and praise, you know what I mean? But going back to what Haran said, if you can't stop white men from doing stuff, how are you going to try to get black women from doing stuff that you don't like? What? Go ahead, no, Sam.
No, I was just going to say, so as far as the word, I think there's definitely been, since I've grown up, less, I think from me looking at people younger than me, it seems like there's less hesitance for that word to be used in different situations. But I do know that this word has definitely softened around the world because it's become a lyric.
Yes.
You can have someone over in China rapping, might not understand 2 words of English, and that word's going to come out of his mouth. And he may even know what the word is, but it just doesn't have the same impact in English. You know, he's saying it, it's almost like cursing, and I can curse in Spanish, and it doesn't have the same sound to my ear as if I say curse word in English. You know what I mean? It's just So I think the word, you know, since it's been propagated around the world, it's definitely become more mainstream. And it certainly seems like the younger generations get somewhat of a pass from their counterparts, more than what I can remember anyway.
I mean, you're right. I've seen like documentaries, and they show people in other countries, and they're using it because hip hop is global. Charles Coleman is dying on that hill. Non-black shouldn't say the N-word because it's right. How about that?
Oh, but the people all around the world, they're not getting it from scary white man, racist white man. They're hearing us say it, and they're hearing us say it in that negative, volatile way toward each other, and then we wonder why no one respects us. They're like, well, if you don't respect yourselves, then I don't give a fuck. I mean, it goes back to anything. Like, I'm like that with people. Like, if someone gets mad, and I'm trying to think of an example, you know, we get these things, we do these stories all the time, and someone comes out and they're upset. Russell Wilson and Sierra, right? Russell wasn't upset, but all of these men were upset. Well, why are you upset? He's not upset. It's the same thing. So people look at things like that all the time, and they're just like, okay, well, if y'all don't care, then we don't care, right? So
Adam Hearn says, y'all missing the good details about Nick. He has a whole system against him, banks, IRS, pay processing systems. One thing about the Proud Boys and the Good Old Boys Club, they support each other. Like Derek Chauvin is still getting money for his legal team. So is the guy that choked the man out on the train station. Them motherfuckers stick together. If Nick Fuentes started a GoFundMe tomorrow, and he doesn't even need GoFundMe, if he started a website and said, hey, cash at me, blah, 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 he'd have $1 million to $3 million in there. Easy. We've seen it happen before. They did it for Zimmerman. They're doing it for Derek Chauvin. They're doing it for that Marine that choked the
white lady.
Yeah, it's. I mean, so saying that is saying what? Them dudes stick together, and I think it's foreign to probably black men in these spaces because they're always at war with each other. That's why a lot of like these idiots who come at me, don't I just wait a couple months and then they destroy each other and then they're taking each other's pages down? All you got to do is sit back. Because, like I said yesterday, nobody hates black people like black people. Nobody. Not a white racist, not a Latino, a white Tino, nobody. So you just step back. And everybody I've had a problem with has been taken down by somebody else who looked just like them. And that's why I just like, okay, we'll see. Right. And you just
Well,
step back and let them destroy each other. So I'm just saying that to say they don't stick together, so they can't understand the concept that Nick Fuentes could start a fund tomorrow and have $3 million in there in a couple months because he says the N word.
well, if we recall, Kanye, I don't know if he used a slur or whatever, but Kanye basically stated that the Jews control Hollywood and a number of financial institutions. And he was basically ripped to shreds by the Jewish community. Now, here's the thing, he did tell the truth, but here's the thing: the Jews, they are in the position and they demand a degree of self-respect, a degree of acknowledgement, and they enforce that. And so many black people really, it was foreign to them that they were seeing that in a particular manner. And I was explaining to them, and I was like, no, 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 that's called brand protection. That's
Yep.
called you watch your fucking mouth when you refer to me. See, you guys, you do things, such as the BET Awards, and you dress up like clowns, and you got women twerking on the goddamn stage, and you have black women. A black woman came on here and actually said that, yeah, that's sexual liberation. That's so on and so forth. No, you're putting yourself on a platter and you're disrespecting yourself. You're basically telling you that the price for pussy is real fucking cheap. You know what I mean? Your bottom barrel. So guess what? People are going to treat you accordingly. They're going to go on, you know what I mean, these certain podcasts. They're going to call you out your name. They're going to do whatever. And then when you turn around and you do nothing, there's no consequence for it because a couple of months later you're begging for reparations. Who the fuck is going to respect you? After I told you what I thought about you, you think I'm going to give you money? Imagine
Listen,
that shit.
I mean, this is
These people in so
I
wait
just-
one second.
Okay.
Wait 1 second. Think about it for a second. These people enslaved you. They did all kinds of things to your mama. They did whatever. They still call you whatever, and you be like, "Yeah, that's messed up." Oh, you got $10 I can borrow? Are you serious? Are you serious? Anyway, go ahead. Host thing.
No. I mean, you make some good points. I just want to say that I just have to put some historical context on on something he said, which was that Jewish people stick together and it's a brand. Throughout history, these things have been said about Jewish people, and it never turned out good for them. So they have just like black people should have a reason to kind of feel a certain way about certain things. I think they earned a right because it's not just World War II. It's throughout history. They control this. So when they start hearing these tropes go out there, they get sensitive. And it's understandable because it never turns out good.
So they teach people how to treat them. It's just that simple. I've been saying that since I was a teenager. You have to teach people how to treat you. People are only going to do what you allow them to do. And they're going to treat you according to how you treat yourself as well. If they see you just not caring about yourself, like for instance, um, you see, and this is not, fair or anything like that, but this is life and this is the world we live in. Someone walking down the street with a suit versus someone walking down the street smelling really bad and no shoes on, they're going to get treated completely different, right? Because the world is going to look at the person with the no shoes on and haven't had a shower as if they don't care about themselves. They're not going to go into the whole, well, maybe his mother didn't hold him and his he had to do free lunch every they're not going to go into that, right? So it's the same across the board. People are just going to treat you according to how you treat yourself and how you teach them how to treat you. So
So I wanted to I wanted to grab this comment. What's up, E Black? This comment: non-blacks who run around saying the N-word just haven't run into the right person yet. So let me say this: they're gonna run into the right person, and you're gonna do what?
Exactly.
You're gonna hit them. You're gonna hit them, and then you're gonna catch a case, and then they're gonna say, "What you went for, Tyrone?" Oh, this white lady said N-word at Walmart.
Not in
Y'all ain't
Walmart.
doing nothing. Because guess what? I'm gonna tell you.
Because that's usually where these fisticuffs happens. It never happens in a corporate arena. There's never a white man in a suit, right? No black man is going to touch Nick Fuentes. None.
Walmart.
You ain't touched George Zimmerman. He's at the local Target. Okay?
Right now.
You're not touching Nick Fuentes. None of you. And when I say none of you, none of you. Now you will touch a black woman. You will touch a Latina woman. You will
trans
praise a
woman.
white woman. You will attack a trans woman. But none of you. And when I say none of you, I mean zero, zip, zero, nada. None of you are touching a Nick Fuentes. Now, have I seen like a black crackhead punch a white crackhead in the mouth for saying the N-word? Yeah. Have I seen that on World Star? Yeah. But none of you would dare touch a hair on the head of a white man in a suit that said that word. None of you. If you're at the 7-Eleven, perhaps. If you're at the Walmart, perhaps. But even then, you're going to think about it, because I don't know about y'all, but what I see most of all on social media is this. Go ahead, say it again. Say it again, Karen. Say it again, Josh. Say it again. Say it again. You're going to lose your job. You're going to lose your job. Say it again. Say it again. So when you say that this quote unquote racist person hasn't run into the right person, I mean, I've seen countless videos, and this is what y'all do. Say it again, Karen. Say it again. You're going to lose your job. That's what it's become. So if you are a white person, like, what are you to fear? You're gonna catch a case if you dare lift your hand to a white person. Okay? If you dare, you catch a case, you go before the judge, and you get charged. And that's all that's gonna happen. So it's nice to sound tough. They haven't run into what are you gonna do? Y'all gonna shoot them, y'all shoot each other. You're not gonna shoot a white person that said the N-word. Y'all shoot each other.
Uh-oh.
Right? So
Cash
it's time. So it's time to really, really, you know what I mean? Is it time to face the music? Is this why the N-word is losing its steam?
Well, what's
here's
funny
the thing.
about
1 second. No, wait 1 second. No, Sam. I just want to say one thing. Here's the thing. To Jen's point, and I also want to add that if you notice this, if a black person, an affluent black person, goes to LA or Houston, he's expected to check in. Like, seriously, do you think Jimmy Iovine has to check in? I wish one of you motherfuckers would make Warren Buffett check in if he goes to, you know what I mean, any one of these areas. And you know damn well you won't do anything to them.
Tommy Mottola, Jimmy Iovine, what's the other guy? I forgot the other guy's name.
I used to know
any white executive, no one's making them check in. No, nobody.
I used to know a corrections officer. Jen, maybe you heard this. I used to know a corrections officer, worked in corrections for 20 years. He said anytime a white prisoner came in there, 9 times out of 10, the brothers didn't touch him. The black men didn't touch him 9 times out of 10. New black fresh meat, they was on his ass than ours. So yeah, you know what I mean? A number of us are taught. See, they had to, again, they pulled a number on you motherfuckers because they made sure that you praise a religion that keeps you docile. You know what I mean? They ensured that when you learned about slavery, you only learned about getting your ass kicked. You didn't really, you know what I mean, have any discussions about Nat Turner. They got Khalid Muhammad, Malcolm X, all these people up out of here. You know what I mean? They made sure that you know and you understand that you aren't supposed to be raising your hand. And I wish Ish was really here. Because Ish, I would really love your commentary. Because a minute ago you had something to say, but all of a sudden you're gone. Anyway, go ahead.
On the other side of your comment there, what?
I said praise Allah.
On the other side of your comment, Jen, though, I think that the say it again, Karen, is the new fuck around and find out, because people are. You look at the Central Park dog walking lady, right? Mm-hmm. They are being held accountable. They are losing their jobs. You know, maybe it isn't the CEO that you're talking about, but you do have these, you know, middle management or whatever bougie white people walking dogs in Central Park getting taken down and suffering actual consequences when someone pulls out their phone and records them in their racist rants.
Okay. I mean, if they feel like that's a win, okay.
It is a win. It's a bigger win. It might be satisfying to punch her in the face, but the bigger win is, bitch, now you're working at Popeyes serving me my 2-piece.
Well, that sounds poetic, but that's not going to happen. A corporate woman is not going to go from there to working at Popeyes. They have too many
connections.
They have too many connections.
But hold on a second.
Is somebody peeing in the background?
No, that's my son. He turned it down. That's okay. That's okay. You're good.
I was about to say, okay, baby, okay.
Hey, you gotta go. It's natural.
I just
went right here.
Right, yeah. Really quickly, I want to read this. Yup, had a person say it to me, and I banged him and his friends up and got arrested. I mean, that's the only place you're going. And honestly, now you have a record, or you're adding to your record. You didn't change anything. I mean, what did you change? You beat one guy up at Walmart, and then you caught a charge.
And what I want to say,
I don't know if that's in defense to what I was saying about.
No. That's
prior.
No, that's here. The comment I put on the screen here. He said,
no, I see it. But is he saying? Are they saying that in that the phone is the new fuck around and find out? Because if you use your fist, you're just going to pay the price, and not the racist.
Right? Yeah, I don't know what that's in response to.
I can't tell either. I
don't know. I thought he was responding to me about like you're going to catch a charge.
Yeah, I kind of thought that's what that was too. But what I want to say is it's kind of interesting because we talk about Twitter and Instagram and how the more you have, the more people attack you, and the lesser people are able to use the power against you. In this situation, like he was saying, people are going to meet the wrong one, and the wrong one is the person, like you said, that has nothing to lose. The more you have, the more you aren't going to react in that way. You're going to restrain yourself, because if you do, it's like David said, as much as it might feel great, you have something to lose. And I just want to let them know I don't go around saying that word, and I assume everyone's the right one. So I wouldn't.
Okay, you're going to play it safe.
Yeah, there is no the right one. They're all the right one. They all can put hands on me.
One of the things is that, see, here it is. The moment this is the problem with so many of you brothers in there. Well, he hasn't run into the right person yet. He hasn't done this yet. This is where your minuscule thinking comes into play. You think that's the only power that you have. You think the only thing you can do is just punch someone in the face. But the only thing you're really doing is you're hurting yourself. You have no political power. You have no economic leverage. You have no ability to actually change policy and show the world that you are bigger than just N-words. You know what I mean? You just think that you can just knock out a white dude or a racist and believe that you did something for the cause. No, actually, you just put yourself in a particular predicament where you can now work for, 2 cents on the dollar, and you're an employee of the government. So again, you pretty much hurt yourself. So again, overall, if you have no political power, you have no economic leverage, because there's this anti-intellectualist concept that continues to proliferate throughout the community. You're refusing to arm yourself. You're refusing to go get the necessary tools to ensure that the brand can change. So guess what? Why would our women actually respect this? Why? Women at the end of the day are women, and they're going to be attracted to power. They're going to be attracted to control. And our men are none of that. And we constantly keep blaming that on white men. So by proxy, we're basically saying that
women,
our success,
and black women,
and black women.
We're basically saying that our success lives and dies on the green light of black women and white men. But you want to be a leader.
That's a whole topic. That's a whole topic on its own. Dios mío. I dropped the link for the last 20 you guys. So if you want to come up and rebut, long as you don't act the monkey ass fool here, because you will get 86'd. Please come up, and please, if you have broken English, respectfully stay the fuck off the panel too.
We don't
When
have
I get
subtitles.
right, when I get close to the 2 hour mark, I'm not going to, because of the water, and I'm not doing that tonight. If you're disgruntled and you haven't had pussy in the past 10 years, do not come up here tonight either. Just if you have something to rebut, retort, something interesting to contradict, we welcome you with open arms. We're not doing the retarded factions of YouTube tonight, ladies and
Jen,
gentlemen.
Jen, I haven't had pussy in longer than
Yeah,
that. So
David's excused.
it's
David's
just,
excused.
You're
yeah.
Hey,
excused.
don't
Y'all
be
already on the
just.
panel.
You
Y'all
can never
already
make
on the panel.
assumptions about me. I'm just saying.
I was about to say, don't.
There are a lot of assumptions about David. I'm not
No,
feeling that.
Right.
I
You
know.
have no idea what that man is doing.
My apologies, David. Yeah, correct.
Stop it.
What are you
Leave
doing?
alone.
You're beating back
Yeah,
some pussy
like
over
what's going
there.
on?
I
Yeah.
saw that.
Sorry, I got some pussy. I'm here
Look,
all week.
we're doing good. We're doing good. We've said the N word the whole night, but we're doing good.
We said pussy a lot.
We said pussy and we said everything else but the N word. Hi, bodega
Hey.
cat. That's our little bodega cat. Sleeps on the
Yes,
bread.
it is. Yes, on the bread and the produce.
Black Lexicon, amen, sir. Says my pride heals quicker than my body. There you go. Somebody said Black Lexicon. Interesting. Says if a white male called me that, my first response would be the concern of how many more are nearby, including law enforcement.
That's funny.
I mean, look, we've seen law enforcement take mass shooters to Burger King, so you never know. Got to be more careful.
I think there's this assumption that Nick Fuentes is some sort of system within himself. No, he's out in front. There are a number of politicians, there are a number of YouTubers, there are a number of judges, and so on and so forth, who think exactly like him, that he probably does have in his phone, and so on and so forth. And he's out there basically spewing the ideas that they have, because guess what? They have to put on a particular face for the sake of, being PC. But look, by just glossing this over and saying, well, it's weak. It's weak, man. And it just shows what you think of yourself at the end of the day. Because
I'm sorry.
No, go
Do you
ahead.
think with the diluting and softening of everything and the lack of shaming and the inclusion on steroids, do you think it's gonna get to the point where the N word will lose its steam and no one's gonna care? Like I said before about celebrities, you can't cancel everybody. You won't have a Hollywood. You won't. And entertainers are some of the most corrupt people on the planet. Entertainers are, right?
That is possible.
Except us, because we're so darling. We're so darling. This I do want to get this comment from my community section. I thought was really good. I was like, that's interesting. Where is it? I was like, okay. I love my thinkers. I love my thinkers. Okay, so Aaron Richardson says, I'm about 50 years. I'm about 50 years. The N word. Okay, I'm sorry. In about 50 years, the N word will be a miscellaneous slang word in society used by most people. Sit back and study its cultural evolution from generation to generation. I thought that was an interesting comment. He says 50 years.
No, because I think that I think the way it's going, it might be shorter. But as the
Hey,
word
Dolores.
as the consequence for using the word continues to be non-existent, it's going to morph within the lexicon, and it's going to appear harmless and feel harmless because there's nothing attached to it. There's nothing, there's no kind of consequence attached to it. And if there's no consequence attached to it and it's referring to a group of people, then one can actually assume, well, the idea of those group of people, there will be continuing to be no consequence attached to actually hurting those group of people, because you're actually attaching that word and those ideas to those group of people.
So, devil's advocate. It does make sense. So, devil's advocate does Drewski, does the black women at Fresh and Fit, does Fresh and Fit, are they ahead of the game of that 50-year timeline? Are they taking the charge out of it? Are the women sitting there and saying, say it because there's no consequence? Is Nick Fuentes saying it to the because there's no consequence? Is Drewski
Ooh,
telling the white comedian to say it because there's no consequence either way? There's no
that's making
consequence.
sense.
You get
Now
it?
we're getting somewhere, and
You
I'm
get it?
looking at this because of the
I don't think
age group. I'm looking at the age group of this, right? In their time, they haven't seen any consequence. It's been lesson and lesson, right? It's
yeah.
the same thing as the queer community, right? The queer community of that same age group are not connected to the pain and struggle that came before them. They're just like, it's always been like this, right? We've always been able to get married. What are you talking about? So they don't understand certain things. So it's the same thing with the younger black community. They're not attached to civil rights and this and that. They don't care about anything like that. They just care about, oh my God, this is so cool, this fashion nova. Like it's like,
Like cloud
they just
chasing, you
cloud
cloud
chasing.
chasing.
You gaslit me, like just they're not thinking about that. They're just not.
No,
So
in that
I
context, I
do.
understand what
They're into
you're
mental
saying.
health and therapy and like self
I
care and
I don't
long
know.
3 hour
I
baths.
I think you're underestimating. I think that there is no more powerful or divisive word in the English language, and I think it's always going to be infamous. And that I don't think it's going to be. I would love to hear anyone else's example of a word that powerful that has been absorbed into the lexicon, because we don't go around. You don't call me up legally and say, "Hey, faggot,"
Yeah,
right? And I'm not cool with that. So,
okay,
like,
but again, look at we then that takes us back to the age bracket because all my young friends are like, "Hey, F word, hey B, hey bitch" used to be an insult. Remember
And
that?
hoe and
but
Hoe,
among your
slut.
friends is not public. That's different. I talk in a whole different way when I'm with my friends too. But
Yeah, but
publicly,
even in public,
public now.
women do
Yeah.
it like, "Yo, damn, you's a bad bitch." I've seen
oh,
Yeah.
people do it to perfect strangers, and I'm like,
Okay, so this is it.
"Whoa,
This
don't
is
bring that over here."
I
But
still don't think it's as divisive, but I
wait,
know what
wait,
you're
wait.
saying.
No, but I agree that it has been one of the most divisive words. However, it's also black people also partake in it being one of the most divisive words because they've tried to take the charge out of it, use it, use it, use it. Other ethnicities and other races, whatever the derogatory terms were to address them, we nip it at the bud. Don't call me this, don't call me that. White people are not embracing cracker and honky. Latins are not embracing spick ever. They just don't. They just don't.
But
In the
none of them
Jewish
have the
community.
history or power of the
Well,
N
that's
word.
not
Well,
true. That means that. But
and
let me
I
wait.
think
Let me
that is
pause right
true.
there. Let me pause. That's because you're ignorant to the Latin activists. Like you can be ignorant to the Latin activists, and that's why you're saying that. But there are Native Americans that are under the boot of oppression. There are Mexicans that are under the boot of oppression. There are Puerto Ricans that are under the boot of oppression. Have you heard of Lolita Lebron? Have you heard
I'm
about
not
Bisu
talking
Campos?
about
Have you heard of
oppressing
Roberto
people. I'm
Clemente?
talking about labels. I'm talking about racist slang we use to identify different ethnic
Okay,
groups. And the N word
I'm telling you.
goes
Okay, and
back
and
centuries,
so
right?
so do the derogatory terms for Native Americans and Tainos and Puerto Ricans and Mexicans. They go back centuries as
and
well.
even the
That's what I'm
Jewish
trying to say.
community. And
But
the
are we
Jewish
Even in
using
right in
them
the Jewish
now
community,
in the way that we're using the N word?
we're not because. But again,
because
that's my point. Because
right, that's the point.
none of our music celebrates it. We didn't adopt it like black people did. They adopted it, and now other people want to use it. Why? Not only because black people adopted it, but because they fucking made it cool. That's
And
the
it's put over a good
problem.
beat. And it's put over a dope beat too. A very catchy beat
Right.
most of the time.
They made it cool. They made it popular, and everybody wants to be cool. Everybody wants to be
Right.
cool, so they want to say it, right? But I do have to agree with Lily because that's another great point. The younger generation, we got to see people hanging on postcards. Not that we were there, but we've shared it amongst our age bracket. Did you see this? Did you see that? Did you see the postcard with the girl laughing at the man hanging? Did you see the man burning? Did you see Albizu Campos pictures after he was tortured with radiation in the prison? Did you see? We saw that. This new generation is so hell bent on. I'm sorry to say, not all, some, but the majority, because they're in a trend with social media, are just up to the gills in the most minute. Oh my God, self love, self care. None of these kids are like, let's see what happened in 1955. Let's see what happened at Black Wall Street. They don't care. They don't care.
So
Everybody's calling each other bitch and hoe. Ty Rivera will call you an F word in a minute. He will flip. He will say it nicely, and he was like, "Listen, all my friends, and we call each other the F word. If I see somebody, I'm gonna call them the F word." So there have been very divisive words that are now just common, and I'm telling you, I see the N word going there.
Right, because like if I listen to anyone's music is outside of us. We're the only one that celebrates the most derogatory, divisive word that's been used against us, but no other community uses that, like none, right? So eventually, it's going to make people kind of. I mean, people have been questioning this for years. This is not a new question. This is not a
It's not.
new thing. Yeah, people have been questioning this for years.
It's just now Charles Coleman actually no accountability is sad. No
Mm.
accountability for Black
wait a
people
minute,
is
he said
sad.
that he's proud of keeping the word. Now, like,
Right.
if you're
So
proud of keeping the word, then yeah, we're gonna blame you. Like,
that's
but
He might.
also that I
He
agree
might
with
have
Black
said.
Lexicon. I agree with Black Lexicon. I don't know about 50, but yeah, 300 years.
Yeah.
Even I'll even do 100 years.
Well,
I'll
this is
even
the
do 100
reason.
years.
Listen, this I wanted to comment after Haran was saying this. This is the only difference I see. So in the past, yeah, words have changed meanings. Dictionaries change, rewrite it depending on how it's used. We use words that used to mean, like for instance, the F word is a cigarette in Great Britain, right? It means something totally different here. So words have different meanings. But with this word, I think because of there's so many films, documentaries, it's not gonna fade as fast as it may have before. Because, like, for instance, the reason the Nazis are always the enemies in films, and the reason it's gone on for so long is because we constantly see documentaries, films on the Nazis being the bad guys. We don't forget. It's a lot harder to forget things like that. So this word is always going to have that edge because we have films that are showing it in the bad light. So it may take 100 or 300 years. It may take a while. But to what Jen was saying about young people not knowing about Black Wall Street or other things in the past, the further you get away from it, the less it means. Because it's like me. I was born in 1970. JFK getting assassinated or going to the moon seems like forever for me because I wasn't around for it, and it was only less than a decade that all that stuff happened. So
that's exactly the point. That's exactly the point that I was trying to make. Because it's like this. Look, words are attached to ideas. You know what I mean? And ideas are just representations of some traumatic event or your opinion on something. So yeah, when we were younger, when we saw these cards, and I do remember those cards, Jen. When we saw those postcards or whatever, it hit a lot different because we weren't that far removed from the civil rights movement. We weren't that far removed from so much, and America was still essentially extremely racist. You know what I mean? Lines were drawn. Now America is,
And it was in our music, Haran. These kids aren't listening to Marvin Gaye.
exactly.
They're not listening to X Clan. They're not listening to Public Enemy.
Think
Or
about it right now.
KRS-One and all that.
Think about it right now. When my daughter grows up and when your grandson grows up, Jen, they ain't gonna know nothing really about 9/11. We gonna be talking about 9/11. They're gonna be like, "What the fuck is that?" And as much as we sit there and probably tell them though of how horrific it was, and so on and so forth, they'll be like, "That sucks," but I'm about to go outside, real quick.
Right.
They don't understand because you have no clue. You're completely divorced from that experience. You have no recollection.
And I do think I'm not saying that the word doesn't have any charge. It still does for certain people, but I think it has a bigger charge for older people
Yes.
than it does for young people. That is a fact. That is why. And the reason why I think it'll become mainstream is because of Black people, not because of white people. Because Black
Right.
people.
It has
I mean,
become.
because what we saw on Fresh and Fit, because what we see Drewski do, because what we see, it's Black people praising white people. It's not that white people are going to be using it willy nilly. It's that Black people are not going to care that white people are using it. Did you see the difference I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not saying it's going to be common because white people are going to use it with abandon. I'm saying that Black people are going to encourage, as we saw, right? They're going to encourage white people. They're going to be like, I don't care. You my friend. I don't care. I don't care about that word. That's what's going to happen. These kids care about their 3-hour showers, their TikTok trends, Coil Ray, Ice Spice. They don't care. They didn't munch. That is what they're not listening to Marvin Gaye and X Clan and KRS-One. They don't care. There's like, who? X
I mean,
Clan.
like think about the last and I didn't watch any of them either, but like the last movies or shows that were depicting those time periods. I'm curious to see what the age demographic. They probably didn't even tune into those things. That's us tuning into them once again. Our
Right,
same age
like
group.
Antebellum and
Yeah.
Underground Railroad. Our kids
Mm-hmm.
aren't watching that shit. Our kids
No.
are not watching that shit. They just not. They're
Mm-mm.
not.
They're not interested.
They're watching. They're watching. What are you? Love After Lockup, and they're not. They're not watching that. They're watching podcasts. So I
TikTok.
think it's going to change. I think it's going to change, but I think it's a good thing. I'm glad that people are pushing back because I think Black people have been hugely hypocritical
Hey.
about that word and about a lot of other shit. Anyway, so good. Let them push back. A lot of celebrities are pushing back. Like good, whatever. Bigger fish to fry. That's how I see it. Catch a charge if you like. Go ahead and catch a charge. There's plenty of cops waiting to pick you up. Go ahead and catch a charge.
Right. I mean, why would you catch charge over words? Like at this point, like just my rule is don't fucking touch me. Don't touch me.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like because just words, like at this point, that's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
Agreed. There isn't an analog really for me. There isn't that trigger word, but nonetheless words. I just don't listen to them.
And on top of that, what people, if you can, in the minute, because I know that word may trigger someone, and when you go into an angry state, your logical part of your brain's not thinking. But in reality, that word reflects more on the person saying it than it does on you.
Right.
So don't get suckered into doing something that's going to end up hurting you, basically. But
also, the thing is that, look, at the end of the day, if you want to change the opinions about you, you have to change your actions. Now, if you say some shit like that, it's respectability politics, so on and so forth. But here's what it is, you moron. The reason why they think about you a particular way is because of your actions. So that's the irony of it. But again, at the end of the day, if you're far removed, it's like they say, the first, what do they say? The first generation, the first son who comes off the heel of the fortune is usually the one who blows the whole fucking fortune. They say the first
yeah.
Because he has absolutely no idea the work and the sweat that put into him being a fucking, rich son of a bitch. Therefore, he has no respect for it. So he just blows everything.
He's not attached to the experience.
Exactly.
JB, I mean, these kids live and die over TikTok, constant battle in the classroom. These kids are wrestling their teachers for their phone. They don't give a damn about the N-word. They're like, that's my parents' problem. I need my phone because I gotta see I need my phone.
I gotta refresh.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
That is wrong. So we will. You guys, let me know. Whoever's here in 100 years, holla back.
I'm gonna be
Let me
here.
know.
God damn it!
I'm getting paroled out. Okay.
All right, guys. So that is it. Join us, Manana. We got some more juicy stuff. I had some fluff, but maybe we'll use it for a topic tomorrow. Someone sent me a very interesting video to my Gmail. We may be able to discuss that. I showed it to Haran earlier. We may flip it all together because Beyonce's stepbrother's love child, Beyonce's father's love child's mother is saying that Beyonce is ignoring her stepbrother and it's not fair because he's living under the shadow of being Beyonce's brother. Her words, not mine. Yeah, Dolores, you'll be good for tomorrow. You'll be good for this topic tomorrow. Go ahead, Lily.
Oh Lord, I can't. I just can't. This is where we're at.
Listen, wait a minute.
I think B on the low hates her get far.
She has to. Like, she really does.
Listen, I'm just going to read you the last line and we'll get into it tomorrow. But the woman who had a love child with Matthew Knowles after Matthew Knowles cheated on Tina, she says, Nixon has never had the luxury of being a normal child. Being related to someone famous smothers kids like him and they lose their own identity. I sit in the bathroom and cry sometimes because I just don't know how to help him be his own person, being Beyonce's brother.
Yeah, this is funny. Okay. I'm not today. Not tonight. I'm not doing it. I'm just
Tomorrow.
not going to do this. Yeah, not tonight. I'm not doing this with my life.
Tomorrow. All right, guys. I hope you are entertained. Hit that like and subscribe on your way out the door. Don't forget, buy me a smoothie Cash App on the block with Jen. Hope you enjoyed. Please follow my people at their handles. We really, really love the support. Are you not entertained, bitches?
And we're staying back, right? We're staying back.
If you want to, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, we'll stand back. Okay, so good night, everybody. Thank you for all the comments. Sarah C says side babies need to know their place. They sure do. They sure do. What happened to the good old days in the 70s when the side babies stayed hidden? All right, guys. Good night.
Right.
Woo!